Welcome back to the channel, folks. My name is Joel Duggan, and this is the Friday LEGO Let's Chat. And we're working on the UCS X-Wing Starfighter. Star Wars LEGO, of course. Set number 75355? I think that's it. Yep. Cosmic in the chat confirms 75355. MindTripMedia, thank you ever so much for the 100 bits to kick off the stream. Appreciate the ongoing support. Hope everyone's having a good Friday so far. I don't know what we're going to do with this while we're laying out the pieces. We're going to have to slide it aside somewhere. But as far as I know, it's supposed to stay on the stand as we move forward. So we will see what's happening as we go on. We're going to be working on bag 7 today. Probably 7 and 8. We discovered last time that there was a flaw in the stand, which we have a temporary fix for. And until we get the other wings on, it's a little off kilter in terms of the weight, so it's a little bit tricky to move around. It is not a light kit. Like this has to be. It's by the time it's done, it's got to be more than 5 pounds, like maybe even 8. But this feels like at least 3 pounds. I don't know. It might even. It's hard because it's just such a specific point that all the weight is on. But yeah, it is a beefy set. Kel Birdie subscribed to tier 1, 10 months. Look what I found hiding under the couch cushions. It's a subscription. 10 months in this wonderful community full of amazing people and so much laughter. Oh, thanks very much, Kel. That's kind of you to say. And this is, of course, a gift sub moving forward, it looks like, from Cosmic Dancer. Or is it not showing up in Twitch? Yeah, that didn't show up in the Twitch chat. That's weird. Anyway, we are going to move this aside. I think I can get it mostly out of the way. Realized that my lights were far off here. Kind of dark. We'll get some glare off the... Quick question, was yesterday Thursday pub day with friends? Yes, it was. And yes, it was loud. There was a Dartmouth food crawl last night. We did not participate, but there was a lot of people out last night. Is it that noticeable, Cosmic? Six-month gift sub entering the 3rd month. Very cool. I'm not sure why that didn't show up in Twitch, but it showed up on Streamlabs. More bagception. Worlds within worlds. This feels excessive. It must be just because of the different factories they come from. When I was hanging out with the guys last night, actually, my friend Scott was talking about how he marvels at how LEGO very seldom screws up and organizes and orchestrates all of the logistics. He called it something specific because he's an engineer. But I thought it was interesting that as an engineer, he notices like the efficiency of LEGO putting together these sets and having so few mistakes in general. I did this last time where I have more room than I thought I did. Essentially on my little camera monitor, there's a bunch of information that is like the battery and all that stuff. And I had been lining up just absent-mindedly stuff in the shot to that, but we don't need to do that. It's like those are the longest pieces. I feel like we might be hitting a couple of new tracks, Squeal It. This is just regular music. Although, now that I'm able to get some revenue from YouTube with super thanks, I have been getting some copyright notices from YouTube because despite the fact that everything on this list is a royalty-free playlist, they like to incorrectly flag things and make it as hard as possible for creators to make any revenue. So, I'm going to have to either look at no music in the future or figure out some different things. I think, and I haven't checked yet, I think it might be the track from my breaks on my Minecraft stream. Because everything on this playlist is from Harris Heller's royalty-free thing, and he specifically made it for YouTube, I think. If anything, sometimes this playlist gets flagged on Twitch, which is almost as annoying. The appeal process on Twitch is at least pretty easy. I have not gone through the appeal process on YouTube. Depending on when it is, especially if it's a break on a Minecraft stream, I might just mute the audio. Problem is that Twitch, anyway, mutes audio on both sides of the track, which mutes me, which is not good. But then on YouTube, I think they usually are pretty specific. Like, they really have things dialed in on where the music actually is happening. So it might be easier. Oh. There's a way to split the audio so that the music can play during the stream but doesn't record into the VOD. That's true, but then there's no music in the VOD. And I know I can do that. I could just have to switch from using Streamlabs OBS for Lego to OBS Studio. Now for Minecraft, I do use OBS Studio, and I do know that I can switch that out. Which probably is going to be the easiest thing to do. Because during the Minecraft streams, I actually don't have music playing the whole time. It's only on the breaks. And so really, having those be silent on YouTube, on a VOD, people are going to fast forward through those anyway. So it's really of no consequence. So that's probably the solution if the culprit is indeed the track from the break screen on Twitch, on the Minecraft streams. Yeah, I'll have to look into. Well, I mean, I don't have to look into it. I know how to do it. I just have to take the time to set it up. That's usually the issue. Hunger. Fit in there? I have a new cord on the mic today, and I noticed that it didn't do anything funky when I moved the microphone over to this side of the studio, so hopefully it was just the cord and not the connection at the bottom of the mic that was causing us issues the last few streams. Could you then apply different audio when sending the VOD to YouTube, or that's more obviously approved by YouTube's copyright scan? No, you have to have the audio in the VOD from the get-go. The VODs are between 2 and 4 hours, so dumping them into a video editor is just a giant waste of time. It's way easier to just... I actually don't find that they work very well if I send them to YouTube directly. I download the file and then re-upload it. It actually seems faster. I happen to be someone that has a very fast internet connection, so that's why I do it that way. Oops. Well, so far this is working out pretty neat. Nice and tidy. It is funny every time I, you can't see it because of the shot, but every time I touch the table, the X-wing jiggles, and the wing specifically that we attached last time kind of wobbles up and down. Plus it's casting a shadow on the wall behind my table. I'd say we're probably doing another wing, would be my guess. DA, welcome in, good to see you. Welcome back. Did the stand for the fighter come pre-made, or was it another structure built within the set? No, it was built within the set. You can see it on the VOD on the YouTube channel from last week. I think it actually might have been the first bag from last week, if I remember correctly. Recognize some of these pieces from last week. That's right, McScrewgunn. You cannot skip Lego Day. That's a great pun, actually. That would be a great t-shirt. You know, I was looking recently at some print-on-demand shops. Teespring was one. And what was the other one? Cosmic, do you remember the one that I liked? I've heard of it before, but I hadn't looked into it. There wasn't a lot of merchandise options, but there was a few. Spread Shop, that's it, thank you. Yeah, that was the one that kind of caught my attention. I think I have this right. I'm not sure why sometimes I end up giving myself like an arbitrary edge for laying things out. I do find it very funny that they use flippers. White flippers for the lasers. Oh, that's just annoying. Just when you think things are going to work out. That's right. For anybody that's used a sub, Twitch sub, Prime sub, or if you subscribe on Patreon, then you can join the Joel Duggan Discord. Actually, that brings something up that I wanted to talk about. I realized that on the Citadel Cafe, my podcast about sci-fi and fantasy entertainment, the Discord links to Joel Duggan Discord, of course. But the Patreon had a separate tier. There's like a tier 1, which is Discord access, and then there is another tier that is bonus audio access. And when I released the bonus audio for episode 467, the most recent episode with myself, Steven, ESC, talking about Ahsoka, I didn't put it behind the barista paywall. I put it behind the basic tier paywall. So it's only 10 minutes of bonus audio, but because I called it a barista cut, it's a little bit misleading because the barista cuts are supposed to be at the $2 per episode tier. So I think what I'm going to do is I need to revisit the different tiers on the Citadel Cafe Patreon and look and see what I might be able to come up with to either condense them or make separate rewards somehow. Maybe people at the lower tier can have access to the live show in the Discord, but then they won't be able to access the recording of the extended audio. I haven't really figured it out yet. So if you are a listener of the Citadel Cafe and you've got ideas, either here today or in the Discord later, if you want to fire them my way, then let me know. Been most pleased with the Gen Con merch from this year. Got the spacesuit hoodie for my SO. They would wear it while playing Satisfactory, then Starfield. Oh, very cool. Makes me smile seeing them in a spacesuit while flying in space. That's really cool. I just realized that SO meant meant significant other and not superior officer. Although I guess depending on your relationship, it could mean both. I'm not hip or with it, kids. If you're using abbreviations from internet lingo, I am likely not to catch on right away. Ooh, I don't know where we're gonna fit that. Right here. My SO is the superior officer of the house for sure, yeah. I think it's probably like that for a lot of people. It probably depends on who you ask. Or who you ask first. I finished a video game the other day, which I don't normally have the ability to brag about. Normally I play them, but then very seldom do I actually follow through and finish them. But there's a little platformer on Xbox called Hoa, H-O-A. I think that's how it's pronounced. And it's just a really tight little, I want to say it's like a Japanese produced game. Very pretty, lots of hand-painted backgrounds and lots of layering. I enjoyed the experience. I didn't really particularly like the way that they ended it. It was a little bit strange. It didn't really give you... I don't know, it kind of wrapped everything up in too tight of a little bow, it felt like. But I liked the gameplay overall. The last level was not what I wanted. Not a spoiler, but essentially what they do is they put you in like a topsy-turvy version of a platformer, and so left is right, up is down sort of deal, and it's unpleasant. Like it's just frustrating. It's not fun or challenging in any way. It's just annoying. So I wasn't a fan of that. But other than that, it was really good. I like the controls, like the gameplay. It was challenging, but not like punishing, I think is a good way to describe it. So I like that part of it. Did you play it, Cosmic? I know I recommended it to you. It's also a very low time investment. Like, I think I finished it in like 6 hours or something like that. A couple of days. It was like my morning coffee and playing this game. That's basically what I did. Well, this was actually a pretty decent bag to lay out. Didn't take too long. Cool. You're right, Squealet. It is very Studio Ghibli, the game Hoa. Yeah. So here we go with bag number 7. That's a long time ago. Go. Bag 7, 201. Question from McScrewgunn from above. Is there a link or crossover between TCC Discord Patreon and the Joel Duggan Discord Patreon, i.e. I am a Joel Duggan, but not TC specifically unto itself. Would I also have access to the extra TCC stuff? You would have access to the live recording. So the Discord, the Joel Duggan Discord, has both patrons of Joel Duggan on Patreon, patrons of the Citadel Cafe on Patreon, and members of Twitch here. So Prime subs and Twitch subs here get access to the Discord. However, the bonus audio is distributed via the RSS feed on the Twitch. Sorry, that's the wrong platform. The RSS feed for the Citadel Cafe is distributed for regular podcasts via the blog, and for the bonus audio, it is distributed via the Patreon RSS feed. So right now, bonus audio as a recording is only available to Citadel Cafe patrons, and that's because I run the Citadel Cafe Patreon on a per episode basis, whereas the Joel Duggan Patreon is a monthly subscription. However, rather than gate the live audio behind different Patreon accounts, it would mean a very small live audience. So if you're around when I record the Citadel Cafe live, anyone who supports me financially can access it. But a recording, the convenience of having it downloaded to your podcatcher, listen on the way to work, all that kind of stuff, that is reserved for people that are on the Citadel Cafe Patreon. And the Citadel Cafe Patreon, it's $1 for, I should say $1 US. It's $1 US for a basic membership, and it's $2 US per episode. And right now, at the most, I'm doing 2 episodes a month. I'd like to get back up to 4, but right now we're doing 2. And that's on a per episode basis, and then it goes up from there. I think 5, 10, and 20, but there's only a handful of people that are up at the 5, 10, and 20 range. Most people are in the $1 to $2 range. So one of the things I need to do is decide on how I'm going to distribute the Barista Cut bonus audio, and how I'm going to set up the tiers. I don't know if I'm going to condense tier 1 and 2 together, so I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to proceed. I'm kind of working through it as I go. Freckles wants to know, when do I record? Usually it's on Wednesdays, but it depends on Wednesday morning or Wednesday evening, depending on who my guest is. Right now, the only regular scheduled Citadel Cafe that happens at the same time every month is Steven ESC on the first Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m. Atlantic on Wednesdays. So that's UTC minus 3 hours. Yeah, you might have been driving or something with McScrewgunn. Yeah, and it's worth noting that the bonus audio on this particular episode of the Citadel Cafe is only 10 minutes at the end. There's never anything at the beginning. I don't want to get into that whole mess. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on just a post-show for the bonus audio for the Citadel Cafe, which is generally how the Barista Cuts were recorded before. I forget with these plates how quick this goes together. Nope. Did I choose the wrong piece? I did. Yeah, with timing here, I only get the weekday lives if I work, if it works out, or if I'm sick, works out today. Yeah. Yeah, I stream at 1 p.m. my time just because it's a really good time for me. I know that there are probably better times to stream during the week, especially being in North America. I could probably spend more time streaming in the evenings, but that's where I fit in my workout. Oh, I skipped a step. There we go. And that goes in here. I really like what they're doing with this angled plate work, getting the different lines and stuff. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know whether that's confusing for people, the way that the Citadel Cafe and Joel Duggan Patreon are set up, but I think it's pretty straightforward. I mention it on the support tier. It's like you get access to the Joel Duggan Patreon, which is shared with my other, the Joel Duggan Discord, which is shared with my other Patreon and all that kind of stuff. I always want to be as transparent about it as I can. These are really neat pieces. I like them a lot. Yes, you are good and transparent and informative. I just did not know what the crossover was. Ah, okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no way to tie multiple Patreons together. What's actually really frustrating is that you as a user on Patreon cannot switch between accounts easily. So I have to have, for convenience of using 3 different Patreon accounts, because I manage the Patreon account that I share with Pixelriffs for the Spawn Chunks. We share it financially 50-50, but I'm the one that kind of runs it all behind the scenes just because it's easier to have one person handling all that. And so what happens there is that I use Safari on my Mac to log in to the Joel Duggan Patreon. I use Firefox on my Mac to log into the Spawn Chunks Patreon, and I use Chrome on my Mac to log into the Citadel Cafe Patreon, because otherwise I would have to sign in and sign out constantly to flip between them. So me as a person, Joel Duggan, cannot have multiple Patreon accounts or pages underneath one account. So I get paid separately too. Now that works out fine for something like the Spawn Chunks because it's a partnership, but the Citadel Cafe and Joel Duggan on Patreon get separate payments and thus are charged. I mean, it's proportional, so it's percentage, so it's not like I get charged twice as much. But Patreon is incidentally one of the best ways to support your favorite creators, because Patreon only takes 10%, or rather Patreon takes 5%, and then the processing partner, whoever does the banking for them, takes 5%. So in total for me, because I'm a grandfathered account with Patreon, I only ever, see a fee of about 10% on all of the earnings, which is fantastic. Outside of a direct PayPal donation, Patreon is by far the best way to support in terms of supporting the creator as opposed to the other platform. It would be really interesting to see how quickly the other platforms would take off if they decided to do the same thing that Patreon did. I think they would be nigh unstoppable because of how big they are. But I guess because of how big they are, they also have bigger mouths to feed. Not a criticism at all. Timing of lives. It's been really easy to navigate the VODs after the fact. Likely easier now that I'm subscribed to the YouTubes. Is there a preference for watching VODs on Twitch, YouTube, or Patreon? I know they pay creators differently. At the moment, I don't get any ad revenue on YouTube. I don't have enough subscribers. I need 1,000 subscribers, and I've got 940, I think, is the last time I checked. So there is no real revenue from watching on YouTube. However, what I will say is that YouTube is probably the better place to watch it for a couple of reasons. One, you're going to have a better viewing experience. Two, watching on YouTube and commenting on YouTube will help raise it in the discoverability algorithm on YouTube, and discoverability on YouTube is way better than Twitch. Twitch, I do get ad revenue from VODs, but it's the tiniest little. It's like very, very, very small, and I'm pretty sure I can't talk about how much it is, so I won't get into it. But it's small, so I would rather people watch VODs on YouTube if that's where you prefer it, because I'd rather get the discoverability potential and more eyeballs and more people coming in than I would the small amount of revenue that I would get from people watching on Twitch VODs. I still appreciate people that want to watch on Twitch, and sometimes, like if Twitch is where you like to hang your hat, you like to be in multiple Twitch streams at once, watching a VOD, watching a live stream, that's fine. Like, it's not bad to watch on Twitch. But YouTube would probably be the most benefit to me. Not so much financially, but as far as growth and discoverability, I would say. Right, that gets rotated that way. I'm having a hard time building and talking today. All right, this goes over here. Like that. Leaguer Gaming subscribing at tier 1, 36 months, 3 years for Leaguer Gaming. Can we get some love in chat for Leaguer? That's amazing. Thank you so much. 3 years of subbing on Twitch. That is the entire length of the West Hill build. 3 years. That's bananas. Thanks ever so much, Leaguer. And then this goes this way. Did I do that right? Yeah. I believe these black pieces have got some scratches on them. The West Hill build? You know what that is. Sounds good, YouTube versus Twitch. We'll keep in mind when catching up on VODs during my lunch breaks. Yeah, by all means. I mean, the entirety of West Hill is there for people that want to watch it. All of my Lego builds that I've been recording and streaming right from the beginning, they are there. Ever since I started the Lego Let's Chats. I don't actually know what the first set is. Was it a Y-Wing? I want to say it was a Y-Wing. Does anybody remember what the first set was? Is this the first X-Wing, or did you already build one? This is the big one. This is the UCS version. I built the small one, the playset version, which is only like that long. This is like at least twice the size. And the small one, cool, but did not have as much detail. I wonder if Lego releases the scale. You know how when you built models when you were a kid, you'd have like a 1:16 or a 1:32 scale model, that kind of thing. I wonder what scale this is, because this is roughly 21 inches, and I think it said that the original X-Wing was 13 something meters, 13.4 meters. I don't remember where that was said. The T-65 X-Wing Starfighter is a mere 12.5 meters, or 41 feet long. So 41 feet versus whatever the measurements are on the Lego site, which I think is 21 inches. Whatever that proportionally works out to. I know it lists the exact numbers on the Lego site, but I never commit like the 0.5s to memory. It's always just like the roughly 21 versus 10 versus, you know, whatever the measurements are. Looks like it was the Y-Wing. Oh, good memory. I got it. That's surprising. I did not expect to get that on the first try. I was just looking at the boxes that line the top shelf around my studio, which are cool decoration, but also nice sound dampeners. And I was just thinking, like, there's a couple of other sets up there, but I'm pretty sure that I built those either before I started streaming Lego or they were after the X-Wing. Or the Y-Wing, pardon me. I've not ever been able to find a B-Wing set that I like. They always look weird. It was one of my favorite fighters in the series, in the movies, but they never look good in Lego. They never released the scale, says Jake Christ, but the sizes provide some context. Yeah, that makes sense. You'd think that they would do it for things that are like real world comparisons, like the Vespa or the Corvette that they did recently. I'm not a big car guy, but some of the Lego cars look pretty good, I have to say. I don't like the Technic ones, but some of the Lego cars are neat looking. We reviewed a Land Rover on one of the episodes of the Citadel Cafe. I know that Steven was interested in that. And it's weird how his like Lego collection has just sort of happened to be vehicle related. Right, I remember this from the other wing now. Really cool way to do this. A very specific angle that these little grip pieces, they create an angle. You'll see when we get there. But I remember liking it from last week. I'm gonna have to figure out a different situation, I think. I need either a taller table or I need to get a better microphone setup where I'm not leaning into it so much, because I do find that, depending on the day, sometimes these Lego Let's Chats, it's hard on the back. I feel like I'm kind of always leaning funny. I think some of it has to do with the glare from the lights. It'll be better when I get better lights set up. I'm debating on spending some time this winter and improvements around the studio. Not so much like equipment in terms of like microphones and things, but like a couple of lights and then just moving things, like moving the tables. I've noticed, actually, this is a funny thing to share, but I've noticed that my computer table, which is just a 6-foot board table from Staples, is it's sagging quite heavily in the middle because the dual monitor stand plus the weight of the desktop computer that's on it are making it sag in the middle. So I need to do something to reinforce it. And this piece, I think, yes. These are really sturdy looking wings. Two, 4, 6, 7. Is this the first X-Wing you built? No. I've built one wing. You'll see when I roll it in. Do you ever find a comfortable computer chair you liked? No. I have not. Which I need to just get off my butt and get something that's comfortable enough. The problem is I just find them so problematic. Like I spent a lot of money. I spent like $600 on a Secret Labs computer chair that was supposed to be ergonomically correct and very comfortable. And it was not ergonomically correct. Like I looked up ergonomics and what a chair is supposed to be, and it was not. Your hips were higher than your freaking your knees were higher than your hips, which is bad. So I returned it, and I had to pay the shipping on the return. They didn't even stand by their product enough to pay for the shipping, so I was not happy, and will not be buying from that company again. And I've seen a lot of other kind of alternatives that are not quite as expensive. You know, they're in the $300 range, $400 range, but they seem to just look the same. They just look like carbon copies. They're all probably made or designed by the same company overseas and just have different brands on them. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is just probably going to IKEA and buying something that's affordable and we'll say good enough for now. Because anything is going to be better than the wooden dining room chairs that I sit on. Now, they've got cushioned seats, so I'm not sitting on like a wood chair. But the backs are not cushioned. So it's not uncomfortable, it's just that I can't adjust the height. And that I think is the problem, is that I'd like to, from an ergonomic standpoint, I'd like to be able to adjust the tilt, and I'd like to be able to adjust the height. Also, because of the amount of time that I spend at a desk, it would be nice to have some armrests that could line up with the height of the desk, all that kind of stuff. Get off my butt, pun intended. Maybe. Good catch. Good catch. I remember the Secret Lab chair. Yeah, I'm sure I ranted about it on a podcast or two. I'm sure it made it into the render distance on Spawn Chunks, and I probably talked about it on the Citadel Cafe. The problem, of course, is that like while you're ranting about it, even though you don't like it, you're also giving them free publicity. You know, like it's just like, do I really want to rant about this company? Even though you've got negative things to say, you know, there's no such thing as bad press sometimes. Weirdly, I see a lot of streamers have Secret Labs chairs, and I don't know whether they don't care, or they weren't paying attention, or it was just too much of a hassle to return, you know? Break time when you're ready. Thank you, Cosmic. This goes right in here. Snug as a bug and rug. And that is where we will take our first break. So if you're new to the channel, folks, I take a break once an hour. It is that time. Gives me a chance to reheat my coffee, gives you a chance to poke a friend and say, hey, we're hanging out with Joel on the LEGO Let's Chat. And you should come hang out with us. Always trying to grow the channel. I'll be back in about 5. what happened with Secret Labs? The chair had a negative tilt that you could not adjust. So what happened was my feet went to sleep because the front end of the chair put so much pressure on the back of my knees that it cut off the circulation. And I'm a big guy, but it was like I was within whatever they said was the height, and I got the size that was right for me and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just a poorly designed, highly marketed, expensive chair that people shouldn't buy. I had such a poor customer experience with them too that I don't recommend the company. This goes in the other side here. Makes it nice and round, or roundish. Again, with the rails kind of completing that gap that they have there. Thanks for the lurk, Squeal It. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good Friday. Don't work too hard, but don't let them tell you that I said that. Wait, what? That wasn't right. Onto a little separate piece here. Again, some really fun levels of angles and different pieces, how they go together. Oh right, this is the piece. This is the angled piece I was telling you about. So the little grippy pieces that we put in there, they actually connect to these hinges. Right? And so that allows that to go at an angle. Creates a cool transition from the flat wing to the engine. And lines up quite nicely with this. Even though there is a little height difference, but it again adds to the layering of details, which I think is cool. Housework is done. What to have for dinner? I think I'm actually meeting my dad for dinner tonight, which is unique. I don't normally go out for dinner 2 days in a row. So I was out last night and I had a burger and I had poutine fries, and I was disappointed. The last time I had a meal at this place, which is the same place we go every month with me and the guys, the poutine fries were fantastic, and last night they were not. So I will not be doing that again, I don't think, because it's too much of a risk. Because their fries, plain fries, are always good. I did get the double jughead burger, which was nice. It was 2 4-ounce patties, I think, and that was a good burger. I quite liked the burger. I don't mind giving the place a shout out. Actually, it's the Battery Park is where I went, and I quite like it. And normally they do very well. And the service is always fun, and we get to know the servers there, and we joke around a lot, so it's a good time. But last night, the poutine, well, specifically the gravy. The gravy was, honestly, it was crap. Last time it was really good gravy, and last night was not. Which is kind of the whole point of ordering poutine. Blast Jordan, thank you ever so much for hanging out. Appreciate you being here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Five of these starting here. Right, and then we're on to a slightly different. This last bit is coming together quite quickly, actually. These big chunky pieces. Now I need to pay attention to which direction these face. So these go this way. From the right place, poutine is good, but yeah, I've yet to find the right place. Where are you, J. Christ? Are you in Canada? Because if you're not in Canada, I would imagine it would get exponentially harder. The question that I asked the last time that I was there about the poutine, because it was the first time I had it last time, was, is it real gravy or is it like, you know, gravy from a can? And they said, no, it was real gravy. All right. Last night, though, it was like goopy. It was not good. Sorry for the if that's not the best visual. I think that's everything. That piece. So we'll go on here. I love how big these wings are. It's 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now my beef last time was that these don't stay very snug. Yeah, they rattle around. Goes on like that, and then this goes this way. Ohio in the USA, and there are places that sell it, but none local to me. I would imagine... This is bad of me. Does Ohio... No. Ohio doesn't border the Canadian border, does it? That's Michigan. We get poutine down here very often, but I hate gravy, so I have no interest. McScrewgunn, well, that would curb the whole idea. That would definitely put a cramp in your poutine plans. Does the minion abroad like poutine? Because you'd be able to get good poutine in New Brunswick for sure. It goes like that. This goes on here. I feel like this is slightly different than the last time we did it. That looks right to me. Yeah, I don't like the little rattle bit. I wonder if anybody's fixed that, like a aftermarket fix for the sides of it. This on around, but there are a few things happening here. We've got a black piece, two of these. I don't remember this from last time. Whoops. Oh, that's the wrong way around. That goes on like that. Yep. And then these go together. Goes on the end like that. And then this attaches to the wing. Like that. Now the trick with these, last time I put them in too far. So we're just going to just gently tap them, and then we can push them in later when we actually attach the whole wing to the side. One last sticker. Oh, that's great, McScrewgunn. Right, this looks like a symmetrical sticker, so I don't think there's going to be a wrong way to put it on. Matter of getting it spaced the right way. First try. Whoops. There have not been many stickers with this one, which I appreciate. This is also a bottom wing, but this is not going to really help much. Let's get this ready now. We can put it on in one go. So this is what the flippers are for. They're for like the very end of the laser cannons. It's a really unique way because they really do. They look like flippers that you'd see on a minifigure. They're just white instead of black or blue or whatever. These go roughly at like a 45. We'll save that for the end. And whoops. Yeah, so this is another bottom one. Now, hopefully I can do this without completely having this thing fall apart. That was not the case last time. So there's this little space, so it goes in these 6 at the end. So there is a good look at just how wide it's going to be. It looks wider in person than it does. There is like the full width. But the wings are shut, and then and that's all controlled by an elastic mechanism inside here, but it's not going to work without the counterbalance of the top wings on it. Can I get the whole thing in the shot? Yep. Barely. There we go. So it's on an angle, but well played, Obu. Impressive. Most impressive. Oh, and then this. And so what I did between streams for the other one was that I put this up. So if I switch this and hold this up and then put this on so it goes like straight up and down. So that's roughly straight up and down there. And then when it goes down to this, so it's in the right configuration. Yeah. And so bag 8 is just going to be a repeat. It's going to be another wing. We're at 222. I'm debating actually whether I should switch over to Minecraft and play a little bit of Minecraft to get more work done. And that way we can do the top 2 wings at the same time, maybe. Yeah, you know what? I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to keep this LEGO stream this week short and sweet. And we'll move on to bag 8 next week. Because it's just going to be more the same. It's going to be a very similar process. So, don't go anywhere. Because I'm going to roll this over into playing some Minecraft. And we'll continue on with the graveyard and some of the landscaping that I was doing yesterday. Which should be very, very easy to do. However, if you are going to peace out, then I very much appreciate you being here. Thanks for the support today. Thanks for the subs, for the moderation, of course, Cosmic. And thank you for hanging out for these cool LEGO streams. It gives me a chance to talk about things like the Citadel Cafe and Patreon and all that kind of stuff. If you are going to lurk for some food or lurk for other things, then by all means just hang out. The stream will stop, so I have a separate VOD, and then it will start up again when I switch over to Minecraft in about, I would say, 5 or 10 minutes. Probably closer to 10. Give myself a decent little break here. If you're watching this later on YouTube, thanks very much. You can, of course, check out the playlist for the X-Wing, as well as all of my LEGO playlists. They're all kind of organized into different categories, should you have an interest in one or more builds. And you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, social media. It's all very easy to find. Joel Duggan. It's Joel Duggan VODs for the VOD channel. I do have another YouTube channel, but I haven't done edited content for a very long time. You can also, of course, check out the different Patreon pages for the Citadel Cafe podcast and the Spawn Chunks podcast, as well as if you want to join a Minecraft server, you can check out Joel Duggan on Patreon, because there's a number of different levels that you can support, including one that joins Infinity Cove, my patron server. So we're going to play on the Citadel Cafe. Sorry, not the Citadel Cafe. We're going to play on the Citadel, which is a server that has the name from the Citadel Cafe. And we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. So I'll see you folks in about 10 minutes. I'll be right back.